We'll now turn our attention to tennis. We're going to look at the outright betting for the Australian Open 2018, the men's draw. If we look immediately, we can see Roger Federer is the favourite at 2-1 from Rafa Nadal, who ranges from 7-2 to about 5-1. Then you've got Novak Djokovic 13-2, Grigor Dimitrov 10-1, Alexander Zverev 16-1. Now, with the outrights in this particular tournament, as ever, we're going to be looking for value. We're going to try and get as big a numbers as we can. We're going to be looking for, some of the players that have the potential to rise up and win a major. We might not be looking right at the top of the market. It's easy to say Federer, but with the bookies pricing it at 2-1, yes, he had a great year last year. Yes, he's the best player currently. There's no doubt about that. I mean, last year was amazing from Federer, but we need to look for value. 2-1. It just doesn't get the juices flowing. There's not a huge amount of profit there. You back Federer at 2-1, unless you're putting down a lot of money, it's not going to be hugely profitable. So we're going to look down the list. Nadal is there, ranging from 7-2 to 5-1. Had a great year last year. We know what he's capable of, particularly at the French Open. He's been dominant. We know what a great master he is of dictating rallies and how fit he is in terms of getting back every return possible. And the will to win that Nadal has is tremendous. But we're going to have to look past him because the odds they're giving us, 7-2, I wouldn't dream of it. 5-1, I'd consider it. But I'm going to look past it. I'm looking for big value this time. Third favourite, Novak Djokovic, is somebody who I've always spoken up for. But in the last sort of year, he hasn't been around. He's had injury problems recently. He hasn't done as well as the Nadals. He hasn't done as well as the Federers. So despite his illustrious career and his vast number of major championships, I think he's won the Australian Open 6 times. We kind of need him at present to kind of prove he's back where he was. He's kind of got something to prove in a way. At 13-2, it's a reasonable figure, but you'd be betting on that, taking a punt on him returning to his form. You'd be basically taking the risk that the time he's had off with injury, he's got his coaching right, he's got his mindset right, and he's going to put in a quality effort, put in a sterling effort in this Australian Open and come back to his best and win. But it's a shot in the dark. We don't know if he's going to do that. If you went for it at 13-2, I wouldn't argue with you, but it's not one I'm going to look at. Next one, we've got Grigor Dimitrov, who, in recent months is starting to show a bit more of what he's capable of. He's always been a potential player. He's always been compared to Federer of his style, but now he's actually coming into his own, and you can see the bookies have recognised that. He was never 10-1 in majors before. You'd find him at 20-1, 25-1, 33-1, something like that. Now they've shortened him up to 10-1. The problem is with that price is it's probably about right. If I was a bookie, I would, rate Dimitrov's chances in a major as 12-1 or 14-1, and they're putting him at 10. So I think it's just slightly short, or it's correct. It's not value. So we're going to have to look past that. Then we've got Alexander Zverev, talented player, young player. Again, someone who can go on in years to come, be one of the top players. But he's still got to prove whether he can, do it in majors, whether he can win majors. You would be taking a bit of a flyer if you bet on Zverev. He's at 16-1. That price doesn't strike me as being a huge value. It just strikes me as being roughly correct, or maybe on the short side. I'd put Zverev at 20-1. So we can't bet that. We're looking for value. Next one's David Goffin. He's 20-1. I like Goffin. I think he's a good player. I think he's a very competent player. He doesn't really have many weaknesses in his game. Recently, Dimitrov got the better of him. I think it was in the ATP Tour Finals. That was a great battle. He competed well. He's someone I like to bet on in singles action, singles matches, not so much on the outright. If someone took 20-1 on him, I wouldn't dissuade you. I think it's about right. I'm not going to say there's a huge amount of value. Can he win a major like the Australian Open? Yes, he can. But again, taking a little bit of a flyer. I'm going to now come into my picks, which, they're bigger numbers, but they're names and they're players that, if they have a good week and they play to their best potential, they can compete. It might take a a Nadal or a Federer to be dumped out of the tournament in a shock or early on in the tournament for these players to come through and win. But I'm going to take a chance on that. The way the odds are placed, they're not giving us much incentive to take the short priced players. The Nadals, uh, the Federer's at 2-1, Djokovic at 13-2, where we're not really sure where he's at. They might win, but let them win. There's not. Let's just watch them win, because the odds they're giving, it's not going to give us a huge return. I'm going to look straight to Marin Cilic. He's a US Open winner, so we know he's got major pedigree. He's been in a final lately, hasn't he? He was in the Wimbledon final against Federer, lost out. I bet on him then when he got to the final on an each way bet, so we got some money out of that. The number they've put here is 33-1. I mean, yeah, I would have Cilic, me personally, around 28. So I think there's a slender bit of value there. And he's someone who can win. He's got a very big serve. He's done it before. He's not a youngster. He's been around many times, been around the circuit a long time. He's played all the big players. So he's not really overawed at, facing the big names in the later stages. And he's someone who can come through. And 33-1, I think, is a nice number on him. The other ones in this sort of class, we've got Wawrinka 50-1, former major winner. Someone who's just performed amazingly well over the years. He's always picked up majors when people have doubted him. And, it's never wise to count out Stan Wawrinka. He's out of 50-1. That was one to consider. I'm not going to go for Stan on this occasion, but I think 50-1 is a good figure on someone like him. It could have been 40. It could have been 33. He's a multiple-time major winner. So I think it's a fair number. I'm not going to take that one. The next time I'm going to take is a bit of a flyer. I'm going to go for Milos Raonic. 50-1. He's not normally this big. Again, someone who's suffered with some injury problems. Again, someone we haven't seen win a major title, but he's going to have to come on at some stage, and he's got it in him. He's got the power serve. Sometimes against, the Nadals and the Federers, the elite players, he sometimes finds himself slightly lacking on the ground stroke side of the game. But I just think someone with his power and someone with his ability, who, I rate him as a major winner at some point. He's going to pick up a major at some point. Could 2018 be the year? If he's done his preparation right, it could be. And at 50-1, it's worth taking a shot. You don't need to put down a massive stake. It's 50-1. It's a good, healthy figure. So, I'll be looking at Milos Raonic each way. Other people in the betting, Dominic Thiem is out to 50-1. He used to be priced a bit less in majors, maybe 33, maybe 40-1. The reason he's out at 50 is he's wobbled a bit at the end of last year. His form wasn't great. So the bookies have moved him out a little bit. I don't think his game is in the right place to win a major at the moment. Maybe in the future. So I'll be looking past that. You've got Kevin Anderson out at 75-1. You've got Jack Sock at 80-1. I think, past Raonic, Wawrinka and Thiem at 50-1, I'm not sure these guys have a chance to win. Roberto Bautista Agut 80-1. Joe-Wilfried Tsonga. I think, although he's been a great player over the years and has a tremendous record in majors, I think his time has passed. But if you fancy a bit of Joe-Wilfried Tsonga, he's available at 120-1. So yeah, that's it. I've gone through a whole load of the prices, and from what I can see, in terms of value, in terms of getting the big numbers and having an each-way shot, each way usually covers you for the first two places. If your player gets to the final, you'll get half the odds for a losing finalist. And if you win it, you'll get the full odds. And the full odds you're getting on Marin Cilic, one of my selections, 33-1. The odds you're getting on Milos Raonic, 50-1. The last selection I'm gonna go for is someone I mentioned earlier. I'm gonna go for David Goffin at 20-1. It's a little bit of an outside shot, just in the quest to find value. He's not someone who's won any majors, but he's so able. He's got such a solid game. He could lift the trophy. It could happen. I'm going to go for him at 20-1. One you should consider as well is Nick Kyrgios. He's out at 18-1. He's a bit of a maverick guy, isn't he? Says some mad things, does some mad stuff during matches, but he's so talented and he has a rare mentality. He's not afraid of facing the big players, and I think he's probably on the cusp of actually performing to a very high level in a major, maybe getting to a final and maybe nicking one. I think the problem with backing Kyrgios in this instance is his price. I think 18-1 you know, it's about right. It should be probably 20. He shouldn't be priced at any less than Goffin. So that's the problem. That's why I won't be going for that. But my three selections for the Australian Open 2018 in the men's draw will be Marin Cilic 33 to 1 each way, half the odds. We were going to go for Milos Raonic 50 to 1 each way. We're also going to go for David Goffin